Alright, this video is a little different from your typical Final Judgment review. This review is actually a request from SwagShow. SwagShow offered to send me a free copy of the game on the condition that I would review it, which I accepted, and thus this video. If you're not familiar with SwagShow, he's a game reviewer who produces superb material for both next-gen and retro games. SwagShow has some pretty awesome videos, so if you haven't seen his channel, please visit his channel and subscribe. And Swag, thank you for this opportunity. I would also like to give a big shout out to my brother who helped me put this review together. If you recall, he was the guy who commentated with me in my Cheat 'em in 2 video from last year, and he actually has a channel here on YouTube. He does walkthroughs for next-gen games and has some pretty awesome COD 4 videos. So, if you're into Call of Duty 4, his videos might be of interest. The story of Eternal Sonata takes place in the dream of real-life famous composer Frédéric Chopin, who was lying on his deathbed in Paris, France. That's right. The characters and environment are all just a figment of Frédéric's imagination.
This is all a part of my dream. Even you are just a product of my imagination.
You play as Polka, a 14-year-old magic user who is fated to die soon, Allegretto, a good-natured, intelligent thief, along with his pint-sized sidekick, Beat, Jazz, the decisive leader of the rebel group Audentino, and of course, Frédéric Chopin himself. Eventually, all of their paths cross and they all have the same goal: to stop Count Waltz from selling mineral powder, a somewhat miracle medicine with a deadly side effect unbeknownst to his people. It turns the user into a mindless warrior capable of using magic. While Eternal Sonata is not as visually intensive as Call of Duty 4 or Gears of War, it is no slouch either. The landscape and environments are incredibly well done. The colors are vibrant and lush, and the cel-shaded graphics fit in perfectly with the dream fantasy. It would be ironic if a musically themed RPG had an awful soundtrack, but thankfully, Eternal Sonata delivers. This game's soundtrack is outstanding, and Chopin's piano pieces that are performed in the chapter bits revealing the history of major events in Chopin's life are just simply amazing. If you're any kind of music nut, this game is a must-have. The battle system of Eternal Sonata features free roam and turn-based action, something very similar to Star Ocean till the end of time. The system is quite simple, featuring only 5 different commands. Attack, which builds echo points to be used freely by anyone in the party and boosts the effect of special attack. Guard, which greatly reduces the amount of damage you take if you hit the guard button when the word chance appears. Special attack, your big attack or healing spell. Counterattack, which can be used on an enemy's first attack to disable it, and item, where you can use items in your item set during combat. An item set is somewhat of a battle inventory, where you can only use the items in battle that are designated beforehand. You're also only given a specified amount of space, and different items take up different amounts of space. As you progress through the game, your party level will increase, making battles more difficult by reducing the amount of tactical time you get before acting, and even reducing the amount of time you get during your turn. But it's not all one-sided. You'll be given more space in your item set, echoes, harmony chains which will allow you to do 2 or more special attacks in one turn, and even faster movement speed in battle. Increasing party level makes combat much more fast-paced and requires you to think on your feet. Eternal Sonata also features a light and shadow system. You can do entirely different special attacks depending on which area you're standing in. And enemies can transform into entirely different monsters. This game is not without flaws though. While the plot of the story is original, the story offers no real twists, and is very straightforward with its delivery. Once you learn the villain's plan, it's pretty much, okay, we have to stop them, and that's pretty much it. The guard system can also be problematic. While through most of the game it isn't an issue, certain bosses and enemies are capable of ridiculous amounts of damage if you miss a block, and if you miss 2 or more blocks during an enemy's onslaught, it can lead to disaster, and if certain attacks aren't blocked, you'll be left wide open for the rest of the turn. Your success in the latter parts of the game will depend on your ability to block attacks consistently. Likewise, if you master the art of blocking, it pretty much trivializes the game, a sort of catch-22.
Gigantic slam!
The item set system, while not necessarily a problem, is more tedious than anything. Once you use an item in battle, you have to replace that item again in your set after the battle is over, even if you have more of the same item on hand. So if I ever use an item in battle, I have to make sure to replace it in my item set after the fight to make sure I don't get screwed down the line because I forgot to restock my battle inventory. It's completely and utterly annoying. The dungeons in this game are too straightforward and are very short. It's pretty much just run from point A to point B with a few forks in the path here and there, with some no-brainer puzzles thrown into the mix every now and then, get to a save point, and fight the boss. The only difference from the first dungeon, and any other dungeons for that matter, is the environment and the enemies that roam within it. There is also a total lack of enemy variety and creativity. Many enemies, if not all of them, are reused 2 or 3 times with a different skin color, and you even see many of the bosses twice throughout the game. With what today's game systems are capable of, there's no excuse to skimp out on something like this. Overall, Eternal Sonata is a good game. It gives a breath of fresh air in a market that's lacking in RPGs and overwhelmed by shooters. It should also be noted that the PS3 version has a ramped up difficulty and features exclusive playable characters, quests, and bonus content such as additional character costumes. It has decent replayability with an enjoyable battle system that requires you to make quick decisions and keeps you involved with the guard/counterattack system, and even features an encore mode in which enemies are even tougher than ever. If you're a fan of RPGs or brilliant music, then this game is definitely right up your alley. If it's piqued your interest, definitely try to rent it or borrow it from a friend. Otherwise, stay away.